Welcome back to the Weekend Warriors Show Recap Podcast. I'm Ty from the Unemployed Architects. This last weekend, I had two shows, both in two different P-towns. I had Pontiac. I played at the Cellar on Friday, and Saturday I played in Peoria at the Neon Bison. So both are kind of repeat shows. I was very pleasantly surprised by both of them in different ways, but or I guess similar ways, but I don't know. The last few shows that I've played at both have been very kind of slow, and I don't know. I just didn't quite feel like it was my best performance necessarily. I didn't feel like there was a good crowd. So in both of these, it kind of changed that, I would say. So it was definitely something I needed, because I was a little distraught at the I don't know, just of them both going that way again, at the idea of them doing that. And it turned out to be the exact opposite. So Friday night at the Cellar, 8 to 11, got there early, set up, got everything, where I used my in-ears this night. I don't know if I really needed to, but I did. And it was, it wasn't busy to start, but there were a couple tables there and a couple just stragglers by the bar and whatnot. And, I felt like in my in-ears it sounded really good, and it, I took the in-ears out at one point. I was like, wow, it's kind of quiet. Can't probably hear my vocals that good, but, so I played the 3 hours, and mostly it was just decent, it was like, it was good sounding. It wasn't like a high energy crowd at all, but the crowd was good. They were listening. They were there. There is the important word, I suppose. But and then like 11 o'clock rolled around, a whole like a bunch of people left, a bunch of new people came in, and that's when I was supposed to be done. So maybe it was like 10:45, and I was letting the crowd know that this is going to be my last couple tunes. And so there was a fella in the crowd that went around and gathered a bunch of tips for me to play for longer, and he wanted an extra hour. So that was pretty, I don't usually in a situation like that, if there's a lot of people there and they seem to be digging it and I'm feeling it, I'll say, I have a tip jar if you want me to keep playing. But if not, this is going to be my last song. So I kind of have to coax it along and kind of push it forward. But it kind of was the opposite. So not having to do that was definitely the nicer of the two options. And that last hour was just, I played a lot of my good songs already, but I still had plenty of material to cover it, which was nice. And the crowd was just into it. They were dancing. Like, finally at that third hour, I got people moving. But I felt accomplished, It was like I did something, made some extra cash, all that. People were enjoying themselves. So it felt good, and the owners were there, and I think they were pretty pleased about that, me playing that extra hour, that the crowd actually wanted me to that bad. So made me look good, made me feel good, and I did the last hour without in-ears, so it was a little weird on that front. I don't think I played necessarily amazingly, but I just kind of wanted to hear what the crowd was hearing, and that's when I'm saying I kind of realized it was kind of quiet and maybe hard. The vocals were a little tough to hear. So I did a little bit of on-the-fly mixing, but so that brings me to the next night at the Neon Bison. I ended up and didn't use my in-ears at all because I was kind of like worried that the same thing would happen. And it's kind of a small bar, so it was, it could have didn't take much volume to fill the room, is what I'm trying to say. And it started very dull. I mean, it was like 0 people there. I had a buddy of mine that lives in the Peoria area, Peoria area. um, he was there, and he was like the only person that was there. And I was like, uh-oh, another one of these, they're probably not going to want to have me back. And so, and there was a little bit of confusion on the start time, because the marquee said 10. I'd asked the guy whether they wanted me to start at 9 or 10. Their event said 10. Mine said 9, because it's usually when I start there is at 9. And so, I don't know. Since it was a little slow, I probably pushed the start time maybe a half hour or something like that. 15, half hour. And it didn't get busy really ever. But, when you start with one person listening, 10 people seems like a crowd. So, and that's probably where it kind of got to for the first, like after about, it got up to an hour, or up to about 10 people in that first hour. And, so it was like a little bit of relief, because I was definitely worried a little bit. Not massive by any means, but people. So I was happy because I would have been pretty sorrowful if I would have had another flop there. So it was just nice. And then I played without the in-ear, so I was hearing what they were hearing. I feel like it sounded pretty good. It was like I had the JBL right next to me instead of more behind me, and I felt like I could hear like really well. And so yeah, it sounding pretty solid, and felt a little effortless, which was good. And eventually, kind of in Peoria, since there's such a late bars close at like 4, so crowds kind of change over semi-rapidly. And I got, I was pretty happy with where I was sitting at around 10:30 or 11, and then another crew of people came in that were actually like into it. It wasn't that they weren't into it before, it's just like they were kind of casually listening. And then that crowd was like on the dance floor. So, and, I gave, since I had such success the night before with making a little bit of extra tips and playing a little longer, I suggested it. And, I was giving out magnets and stickers left and right all night. And I think that hopefully will pay off in the long run. People will follow me in all the different places to follow me. But, yeah, so I ended up doing about an extra hour there too. And, the last hour was, pretty fun. Played mostly covers, because I'd done a lot of originals throughout the night. And then at the very end, when there was like the crowd was there, I was like, all right, I'll do one more, even though they didn't ask for it. I'm like, because they wanted me to keep playing. And then they were like, oh, you're done. I was like, okay, I'm going to do one more, but it's going to be an original. And I hadn't played Laura Lee yet, and I thought that would be a good one. And I don't know, I kind of killed it. And the crowd was super appreciative and very, very, complimentary, and wanting to, I don't know, it was just good. So, it's been a while since I've had a weekend like that. I was due for one, and I really needed it. So that was awesome. And, so yeah, that was pretty much it last weekend. This week I got the Weft version of Holland Bones done. When I was editing it and listening to it back, I can't say that I was a huge fan. I almost just didn't do it. I almost just didn't use it. And, but my brother Derek had said that was a good one. And, even though I wasn't as pumped about it, I was just like, I'm already halfway done doing it. I'm just going to keep doing it. And I ended up and got it all the way done, all the way edited. I edited it. Really, that one only had a single shot with no foot drum, so I edited in the secondary shot, and so you could at least see my kick drum. And, it took a long time, a lot of work, and I still wasn't super excited about posting it anywhere, and I ended up and kind of did a slow release on it, where I did it, I did the TikTok, and then I did the Instagram, and I just wasn't expecting anything from it. And one of my buddies hit me up, Trevor, and he said he really liked it. And I was just thinking, man, sometimes that's all you need. You just need one person to be like, hey, that was good. And for as much music as I put out and as much stuff as I, try to get people to listen to and like, it doesn't happen that much. Like, or I get like a random text from somebody is like, "Hey, I just want to let you know that one you did there, that was good. I really enjoyed that." And, it made the whole thing worth it. It made it all worth the the work in doing it, like going down and doing the performance, and then it made the time it takes to edit all of that together, worth it. Just one person. I'm not talking like a, "Hey, that's a good song," on like comment, or like, "Hey, good job," or "Awesome," or "Here's a like," you know. It just takes one person to like go out of their way to say, "Hey, I really really enjoyed that. Good work." And it just gives you like a big energy bump towards getting stuff accomplished. And sometimes I think that I'm not very good. I'm worried that I'm chasing this thing down, and maybe it's just not in the cards because I'm not like as good as I should be to be, chasing it. And then you just get one, or like, I feel like sometimes people are afraid of the share button, like on Facebook, or, if they see it on YouTube, they could share it themselves. Or if I share the YouTube video on Facebook, they could, it just doesn't happen. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like that's a reflection that just maybe the songs aren't good. But anyway, so just that one thing, like I said, made it kind of all worth it. And I'm going to have another one of those coming out, probably Misery, this next week. So I think that one turned out pretty solid. So I'm excited to see, how that one ends up with all the different camera angles and all that. And then I'll have one more from that session, which will just kind of be a, just me throwing one up. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. This week I got Houdini's tonight. I'm playing at this event tomorrow at Distill. Lo and I are playing in the morning. Dos Daños or something. It's Distill's. It's like their first big beer tasting of the year. It's like a little festival kind of thing. Dos Vendania release day, whatever that means. And then that night I'm playing at Buzz Bomb Brewing in Springfield, which I haven't been over to Springfield in a while, so that'll be cool to get back down that direction. So hopefully I can, have as good a shows this weekend than I had last weekend. That'd be great, but we'll see how it goes, and that's what I'll be talking about. I appreciate anybody who takes the time to listen, and I will talk to you next time. Have a good one.